So, Wolves 1, Manchester City 3. A pretty disappointing result, I guess you could say, based on the first half performance. I think the second half performance was much better. Obviously, coming into this game, plenty of positivity after the Sheffield United game, and I think we were hoping that, obviously based on previous results, we did the double over City last year, that we were going to give them a good game, and the first half certainly wasn't the case. We were absolutely dreadful, giving away so many chances, and Saiss, who was so brilliant against Sheffield United last game, giving away a stupid penalty. There was no need for the challenge. De Bruyne wasn't really going anywhere. He could have stood him up, but he makes the challenge, and that is the case sometimes with Saiss. He can be a little bit rash, and it was duly converted by Kevin De Bruyne, which is good for my Fantasy Premier League team, but not exactly good for Wolves. The pressure continued after that. We just looked out of sorts completely. The back three was just an absolute mess. And then, of course, Raheem Sterling getting in behind, playing it across to Foden, who converted pretty easily. And after that, it was just all City, and we were lucky maybe to go in at half-time only 2-0 down. Second half, we really stepped it up. Some fantastic forward play. Daniel Pedence was absolutely brilliant in this game. Really, really good. Fantastic cross for the goal. Really good header from Jimenez, and a 2-1, we were creating chances. And even before that, Pedence missed a one-on-one that he chipped over the bar. And we really should have scored more. We should have scored about 3 or 4 goals. Adama at right wing back, never again. I'm glad that we're getting Nelson Semedo in, because that's a position that definitely needs changing. But fairly disappointing. But against a team like City, you can't really be too gutted. I think we did make it a little bit too easy for them at times. But we go again next time, and hopefully we can get the 3 points.
Well, that wasn't very good, was it? Where the hell do you start with that? At first half, our passing was poor. We was very lacklustre. And we just made it so easy for Man City just to break us down and show them way too much respect. Roman Saiss, what the hell are you doing for that first goal? You don't need to slide in there. Why have you made that mistake? He's gone from being my man of the match last week to this week costing us, ultimately, the 3 points to a degree. Second goal, what are we doing? Third goal, again. What are we doing? It just came from our own mistakes. We're our own worst downfall. We're our own worst mistakes. And we should have scored, though. We should have scored more than one. How the hell have we missed all those chances in the first half? And people will be like, oh, well, the scoreline was harsh based on that second half performance. You can make an argument for that, but if you don't take your chance at this level, especially against a team like them, you're not going to win those matches. I'm trying to think where to find the positives from there. We scored. That's really all I can really find. But yeah. We desperately need to buy some centre-backs. That is going to be something we desperately need to improve on. Somewhere else I feel as though we need to improve on is, just everywhere else. Just our passing, it was too slow. We just showed them too much respect. It can't get any worse for West Ham, can it?
Evening Talking Wolves. Where to start, really? Straight from the kick-off, we just didn't look up for the game. To not come into the game into the last 20 odd minutes after how we played last week was a bit of a shock, really. I know we've become a bit entitled as Wolves fans that we can get 3 points against this team, and we have become a bit entitled, I think, but I expected more from us after last week. I thought Saiss didn't need to make that challenge. Just could have forced him wide, tried to block the cross. I think we were just sloppy at the back. Adama was caught out of position a few times. Bearing in mind that is not his best position, and we did miss him playing up top, I think, especially when he came into the game further. A few guilty misses from Jimenez, which happens. But I think, for me, the best thing in the game was probably Podence's cheeky nutmeg on De Bruyne. But apart from that, we just looked off the boil. I think we missed Dendoncker in midfield. Gives us more of an engine. And a plan B, I think, to change things up. So hopefully we're still not done on the transfer window. Right back to come in tomorrow, and Semedo hopefully, and maybe a centre mid as well. But I guess we'll see. On to Sunday.
We did the double over City last season, but this time around it wasn't as simple as that. 3-1 defeat to a very strong City side. We started, I'd say the first 10 minutes, not too bad, but City started very, very fast. And then they got into the game and we kind of fell off. The injury or the substitution of Marcel around 6 minutes in, bringing Vinagre on, kind of caused that. It could have affected the team in different ways. Obviously, having such a strong player like Marcel after the Sheffield United performance, he'd have been feeling very high. after that great debut, and then his home debut, going off 6 minutes in, kind of runs through the team, the starting left wing back getting subbed off that early. Obviously we have faith in Vinagre, but he's not as strong as defensively, we can already see that. So the second half was much better though, but going into half time 2-0 down is where your problems are going to start. We went 2-0 down against City at home last season, but managed to turn it around, but obviously they had 10 men this time around. We couldn't do it. We scored a goal, had created 4 chances before we scored, and it could have actually ended up in a draw. The second half performance was much better, much more intense. We were chasing the ball down, looked like we were going to score, and then City ended up getting a third in the last minute by Gabriel Jesus in the 94th minute. So overall, first half performance not very good. Second half performance very impressive. In terms of rebuilding or building on the first half that wasn't great. Nuno must have said something at half time that changed the team, and we looked a lot better in the second half. So going into the next game, a league game against West Ham, the second half performance was much more promising.
Well, look, I think we all knew it was going to be a tough game tonight. Man City at home. I think the way we conceded that penalty early doors didn't really help, did it? Saiss went to ground, put a tackle in when he didn't really need to. I think if he'd stayed on his feet, he would have prevented it. But there you go, he's give away a penalty. Then obviously Foden scores a few minutes later, and I think we're all guilty then of thinking it's going to be 3 or 4-0 this. Luckily, we held on till half time. There's positives to be taken from it. I think Pedence and Jimenez were once again very good tonight, linking up well, and once again for the goal. Sheffield United last week, same again. Pedence crossing it in, Raul Jimenez with the finish, and done it exactly the same today. So there is positives. There's another positive coming tomorrow. We're signing that right wing back from Barcelona for 29 million quid, and that means Adama Traore won't have to play right wing back anymore, and he can push up front and he can do what he's best at, and that's attack teams. Sucker punch right at the end, especially after Rui Patricio's made a great save, and you think, listen, in the end, we're going to settle for a 2-1 defeat, and I think 3-1's a little bit flattering, but City were by far the better side. We can't deny that. There's work to do. It's still early doors. No panic stations. Nothing to worry about. In Nuno we trust. Talking Wolves over and out.